Hi there, welcome to the Lair Presgrove case. Today I want to be sharing with you my thoughts in regard to the current state of things in a positive way, but also the main focus of today's video, which I'll start off first, is some miscellaneous screenshots, conversations from previous chats in the past from my channel. Credit to the individual that have suggested the video request. I might not be going all in on it today, but I'll be looking at a certain aspect, just highlighting over what's been previously said by the likes of Brooke Bounce Carter and anyone else in between discussions about Mikey Lair. And not in regard to the Snapchat post of being in the bed where it counters Caden Pressey's, but actually earlier on in the day or going to the previous night, which is Sunday. Whilst I've learned myself and what Justin Roy has said supposedly and what I've based my knowledge off from, will it link to what we see today? Well, likely not. So it can be a discussion base. You can leave your comments down below under the video to let me know if you're surprised or not. Do you remember these points? Is it new to you? Do you have any questions yourself? Just let me know. And for those that are watching the live premiere, welcome. Appreciate it. Feel free to make use of the live chat on the right-hand side of the screen. If you are interested in previous coverage, such as the explosive, deep, dark, long video last night, if you did miss out, don't worry, you'll find it along with all the other videos in the full playlist, top right corner where the I symbol is. And if you want to support the channel, a PayPal link is down below. Credit to those that have been present in recent time, and big shout out to those that were able to make last night's live premiere, and everyone in general for just watching along, because I know it was a very long video and it was kind of late at night. Granted, I'm 6 hours ahead of people from the US, and if not more, so it's even later for me, but it was worth being present and just seeing what people had to say. And I can give you my closing afterthoughts as well in regard to the current state of stuff, but I'll be referring to that later in this video, so be sure to stick about. So without further ado, let's take a look at these previous archive screenshot conversations in regard to Mikey Lair and when he was picked up or dropped off. Here we are with the first one. I'm just going to read most of what's on screen and try and tie in with the questions to answers. First of all, an individual called Jam Justice for Noah asked the question: the girl from Terrell picked Mikey Lair up at the party house after they dropped her off. Do you know the time of that? Or when she brought him back to the party house, ? And at least from this first screenshot, who is he, she, her, etc. We'll probably get to that eventually. Robbie, was he passed out or was he messing around having fun in the shower? I guess that's in regard to Lair Presgrove. Take in mind, these are old conversations from old videos, so things may have changed since. Victor, sorry to change the subject, but damn, I never got that lucky to have two girls help shower me with my girlfriend there. Oh, okay. And then we've got Sharon, of course. Shout out to Sharon. And I've just realised the profile picture, because it's an old one. Bloody hell, Sharon, why is your hair so amazing? Making me so jealous. We got Daryl and Daryl. Interesting name. All kinds of pictures and videos were on social networking. I don't understand why no one has screen recordings. I wish I would have thought to screen recorded it at the time. If that's what you're saying, Daryl, I don't know if Daryl would still be about on my channel, but what did you witness yourself in regard to these screen recordings or the social networking? What type of videos did you come across at the time? Beth Rose, Jack of all trades, he's everywhere except to sleep, like he stated. Brooke Carter, I believe, responds back to Jam's question: not sure on how Mikey Lair got there, as in, how did Mikey get down to the party house? Brooke says, I don't know. Not speaking on his behalf. Carter Combs picked Mikey up from town. It was before the side-by-side flip over. Right. Not sure how Mikey got there, as in where? The girl from Terrell picked Mikey up at the party house after they dropped her off. I don't know, it just seems like we're talking about the house, and Brooke says, I don't know how Mikey got down to the house, but Carter picked him up from town. Picked him up from town to go to where, though? Exactly. And in terms of from town, does that mean Terrell, the town? Or does it mean further north? Because at least when it came to Caden Pressey supposedly dropping Mikey, Brylan, Isaac off when it came to Monday at whatever time it was, based off Caden's timeline, 7 in the morning. But other people argue maybe 7:40 onwards. Like they had to go north down the highway, like as if you're going to Duncan, Comanche, that area, and dropping the people off one by one. I think Mikey may have been dropped off along with, was it Isaac or was it Brylan? I think there was a pair dropped off in the same spot. But in regard to what I can remember, I don't remember Carter, picking Mikey up at any point, but that's just my knowledge or lack of it, because from what others have said, like Justin Roy, it's been mentioned how Mikey got down to the party house and along with Noah Presgrove, and we can mention that on the map just to change the visuals a little bit. Rebecca double-checked, Noah and Caden have a size 12, Caden size 12, so okay. So the shoe situation, mismatched shoes, whereas visually it probably looks very obvious whether Noah cared or not, but at the time, the fitting, the style may be somewhat comfortable. You've got the same size shoe, it shouldn't be a big issue. I wonder, would it have been a different outcome if Noah had been putting on shoes and he had one of his own and somebody else's that was like a size 5, a size 7, it just wouldn't fit on Noah. So what would Noah have done in a situation like that? Found a different shoe that's mismatched, or just went out barefoot? I wonder. Because, if you've got the same size shoe, you might just put up with it and think, so what, screw it. That's one possibility. Robbie, exactly, Daryl, no way they all just disappeared. Oh, what, in terms of the footage? Rebecca, reach out to Robin or Ashley for confirmation. Let's move on to the next slide. Jam, BBC, did the incident with Mikey and Noah happen before or after Carter took the girl to Terrell, or before or after Carter Combs picked Mikey back up? Right. And on what day is this all happening, supposedly? In regard to Jam's initial question about the incident with Mikey and Noah, that would be the fishhook situation, to my knowledge and what I can remember. What else is said here? Robbie, Brooke, Beth is being rude to her. Oh no. Sandra, Beth, you are a very rude person. AC, whoever AC was, I think at one point I thought it was Avery Combs, but it wasn't. AC says, Sandra, she's a troll. We've been dealing with her for months. Right, so who was AC then? Beth, more lies, told you would pull something out. Brooke, Jam, where they wrestled, that specific event. And when they wrestled, that may have been Sunday night, but based off Caden Pressey's timeline, Caden said Noah and Mikey wrestled on Saturday. But Mikey wasn't there on Saturday, so I don't know why Caden Pressey said it, but that's just what was said previously from one of the interviews. I think it might have been the police one. Jam, the fishhook incident in regard to that time, so that would be Sunday night. Beth Rose, I'm sure I'm so something down with me, I don't have time for dumb games. Okay. Did the incident with Mikey and Noah happen before or after Carter took the girl? Who is the girl that Carter took to Terrell? Was it before or after Carter Combs picked Mikey back up? For Mikey to be picked back up, meaning the very first time round could have been who I'm thinking of, which what Justin has said, Gage Jessen, but the second time Mikey was picked back up, Mikey would have gone somewhere in between, but why would he? Where was he? What was he doing? As in, what, Terrell walking up and down there? You wouldn't be walking down a highway there, would you? Interesting. Just these other little supposed events in between, trying to work out on the spot, I guess. But, let's just say. The fishhook incident, Beth Rose, I sure don't F with me. Okay, Sandra, thank you, I've never heard her name. Brooke Carter, that didn't happen that night. So Brooke Carter, and I don't think it was a fishhook. I know they wrestled each other like playing around. So the fishhook incident, Brooke says, did not happen that night. That night as in Saturday or Sunday? Well, we're thinking, or I was previously, that it was Sunday night when it happened. Is Brooke saying it didn't happen Sunday night or it didn't happen Saturday night? Just dealing with limited screenshots here at this moment. AC, Beth, please block me next. I don't want to read your repeating rumours as fact. It gets real old. Well, if you don't want to see people's comments, you've got to block the people yourself. Jam to BBC, but Mikey was only there Sunday and Monday. Yeah, that's what we were thinking previously. Brooke, poor Beth is just like Jan Fiorillo, needs that attention. Beth, I wonder why Jack Newton was fighting with Noah so much, probably due to Carter Combs. He sure was jealous over her. Jam, over a phone, so when did this incident happen, if not then? So the phone situation where it was kind of hidden by accident. Caden Pressey supposedly was covering it with his body when resting on a chair or sofa. And Mikey assumed maybe Noah was responsible, and Mikey took it out on Noah and fish-hooked him. And the next one, Brooks responds, I think it was another person that fish-hooked Noah Presgrove, if that's what you want to call it. Well, all we've ever really heard is Mikey Lair fish-hooked Noah Presgrove. And Brooks saying that, I think, not that she knows, but there's a possibility it was another person. So there was another person then that had it in for Noah. But if it was another person, was it to do with the phone or was it to do with something completely different? Weird. Sandra, is it possible to block someone on here? That Beth person is spreading misinformation. I'd like to her, so rude. I mean, you know, the channel can block an individual, so then absolutely nobody has to see them. But, you know, you can, at times it's for the best and then other times it just leads to more problems. But if anyone has any issues with anybody else in the chat, comment section or wherever, and you're sick of seeing people's faces, you can block the people and then you don't have to see them ever again upon the channel. Oh God, Dutton. Beth did not know where it was live Premier Arena's monitor because others should be called out for coming up on here looking for a fight. A live Premier Rudeness. What's going on here? Brooke Carter, I think Noah and Mikey wrestled. Well, it just so happens that Caden Pressey says the same thing, that there was a form of wrestling between them, but it was on Saturday, which doesn't make sense. Beth, what did the Texas gang return? Didn't they stay around 3 in the morning? I don't know. We heard Caden Pressey in his, I think, police interview, made a reference to Sunday night, maybe Monday morning, where some guys returned back to the party to get alcohol, but not much more mention about that or the time, which is unfortunate. AC, Brooke, I feel bad if there's any newbies reading her aggressive lies. Robbie Taylor, Sandra, try clicking on the name. Yep. What else do we have here? Skippy, maybe Noah didn't want to go back to the party on Sunday because he heard or assumed Colton would be there with their prior issues between them beforehand. It does make you wonder. Oh my God, I can tell how old, you know, the comments, the video is itself from the live chat. I was asking, what, Sharon, are you tucked in? What? Sharon says, Ref, I'm not sitting on my window, or I am sitting on my window still. Ah, that was to do with the Wi-Fi box when the internet connection was a little bit dodgy. Well, as you know, Sharon, it's in good hands now, and it's just fine. Fine as it is, just like yourself. But what else do we have here? Rebecca, sorry guys, I'm making dinner and listening. Oh my God, Rebecca, multitasking. We've got Jam. I have a question about the trip to Terrell to drop off the girl. Supposedly, Mikey Lair went with Carter and then back to the party house with Carter recently. It's been said that Mikey later went back to Terrell to that girl's house. Did Carter take him back? Oh, okay. A little bit more context here. Would you call this rumours? We'll call it discussions for now. Would your window still break if I sat on it? Why was I asking that question, Sharon? Of course it will break because of my weight And if not that, I'm a clumsy individual. So, oh boy. It is funny though when looking back at previous comments when it's, I guess, out of context. So, yeah. Okay. Well, this is obviously a key little screenshot thing here. Maybe I can apply it onto the maps in just a second, mark it out to some extent. I mean, the movement of going back and forth, how significant is it to the outcome of Noah Presgrove? Because the direction it's in, it is away from where Noah was found dead at. So there is that. But there are grey areas that need filling in. We should be able to get to it at some point. What else do we have? Cleo says, my king, ref. Okay. Caden Pressey said he and Noah had different shoe sizes. Oh. So we suppose he got some discrepancies there. Jam, did Carter take Mikey back to Terrell to that girl's house after they dropped her off? No response at this moment. How many people have planned to spend the night after the party? Brenda, I don't think what happened to Noah was over a girl. Then again, I could be wrong. Here's the thing. The main focus nowadays is cause of death and the location itself. How did Noah die? If it's accidental, the motive, there isn't as much of a clear motive, right? Accident. But besides it being accident, if it's something else, the question would be, what is the motive? What's the theme being linked, associated with it all, the build-up? You don't really hear that much nowadays, the motive part. What else do we have? Pictures say Jack was awake as well. Oh, at 1:50 in the morning, Monday, that particular one in the bathroom. Jam, the girl from Terrell picked Mikey up at the party house after they dropped her off. Do you know the time of that or when she brought him back to the party house? Sorry to change subject, but damn never. Okay, so it looks like we're on repeat again with a previous car. It must have been done in a different order or something. Odd how the Sharpie markings are on Noah in the picture with him and Jack at 1:50 in the morning, but not on his body when he was found, allegedly. Had to be scrubbed pretty hard. Well, after 1:50 in the morning, a bit later on, eventually you had that supposed shower, which would have been an opportunity to get some of the markings off. Now, take in mind the 1:50 in the morning little selfie. It's somewhat faded, the writing on Noah's body, meaning before that he must have already been washed, scrubbed down at some point at the party or back at his place when it came to the Sunday morning after breakfast. So any more washes after that would have erased it more. Would it have erased it completely? Who knows? Okay, you might have a marker pen, a permanent marker. It can last for some time. Speed up the process, try and scrub it off more, but maybe it would leave red marks or a bit of skin coming off. But then, what about the quality of the Sharpie pen? Maybe it's dried up, maybe it's not as fresh, not as good quality, not as long lasting. They don't all last the same length, do they? What else? Brenda, I assume so. Okay. Sharpie isn't visible in the dance video either. And that dance video of Noah Presgrove wearing the black shorts, to try and remember the timing of it. What was the timing of it? I don't know where. Was it like one something? I know that, it's like dot, the minutes. Yeah, the minute hand, it was like 52 or something. I probably have it on like a certain project somewhere. I know Brooke Bounce Carter gave a reference. Maybe it was 1:52 in the morning. I could be wrong. I know the 52 is correct. It's just the hour hand. I assume so. Okay, so Jam says, so Carter went to Terrell twice, correct? Once to drop off the girl, then again to pick up Mikey. Okay. Not the dance video, the picture of him and Jack in the bathroom, supposedly timestamped. Yeah. And what's this last one? It's a bit more zoomed out. Can we zoom in a little bit, maybe? Well, Michael, maybe you should block her, but then if you do that, you'll never get information. Michael, you just described a clan in a nutshell. The term clan is a little bit cringy. Justin, yes, and they were leaked by George Chodem. If Caden Press's interview was never leaked, would there be less scepticism towards him? 41% no, 35% yes, I don't know, 23%, 39 votes. Interesting. Skippy, so why did Mikey think Noah had taken his phone? Did they have a previous issue? Why accuse Noah and not others? Does anyone know? Absolutely, would do the same as well, not tolerate online bullies attacking my innocent. Okay. Shout out to Fazza, good individual, such as last night as well. We got Teabag PTSD. Oh, God. God, you had that username back then. They say, Justin, Caden Press's mom, Alicia, should have kept that to herself. She is the only one to blame for them being released. Oh, the private police recorded interview. Donna Bond, hey, Justin, how did George get any information to leak out? George to Justin, actually, you're a broken record. Alicia leaked everything and you saw them too before anyone else did. Michael, George used to be trusted. That was a mistake. Tim, everyone more worried about who leaked screenshots on Facebook than the actual content. Everybody trusted George turned out to be a snake. Everybody trusted George. Well, who does that exactly apply to? Is that it of the screenshots here? Yeah. So let's just head on over to the satellite imagery because we've not done it for a bit. Here we are. We've got the party house down here. We don't need many, if not any, markers whatsoever because this is just a bit of a rough discussion-based one. Kind of perfect timing with when you say with the last video that I did and thinking outside of the box, or a good time of that now, where it's just a bit more open. See, is there a possibility that there are certain events which did happen at the party or around nearby the area which have never been mentioned or acknowledged because it wasn't deemed that important or significant? See, the one day which is never really mentioned nor any details are ever brought up by any of the partygoers to my knowledge is Friday. You know? Caden Pressey may have brought it up in the private police interview, talking about how he was there on Friday, but in terms of the partners in true crime, he said, I don't want to be talking about Friday. You don't want to talk about it because there's nothing to talk about because you weren't there, or you don't want to talk about it because it's sensitive and you can only mention it to police, hence that's why you said you were there on Friday. You see, these things can go under the radar, but I always like bringing it back up just in hopes that there might be answers at some point. In regard to Mikey Lair, he was there Sunday onwards. There was no footage to my knowledge of him being there on Saturday, at least with the limited screenshots and video clips. But granted, when Caden Pressey did do that video, I think it was at 10:50 p.m. Sunday night in like the living room, pointing towards the kitchen dining area, whilst it showed Noah, Jack, Jasmine, maybe Stephanie, Breely from the back, Georgia, and a few others. It did not show Mikey Lair. So where was he at that point? There could be a time, Sunday, where Mikey just wasn't at the house if he had gone down to the town of Terrell. If there was a girl there he was seeing or hanging out with. Is it that significant? Not really. But if it fills in some grey areas for some people, I guess it could be kind of important, maybe. But the direction it's in, obviously it's away from where Noah was found out, which was up this way. Is it possible to check the distance? Have a click there. I know the layout is a little bit different nowadays. So this is just very rough. Again, that's all I'm saying. From there to the party house is about 1 mile and 1 mile 16. But if we go down to Terrell, it's about 2 miles or so. You probably could round it up. Where's that little symbol gone then? Does it not let you add the point? Yeah. Add point. Add point. Oh. That's kind of dumb, that. It won't let me add another marker. I've never noticed that before. Add point, and then it just disappears. How useless. And is there any way to... Okay. Does it disappear? No, it doesn't. Okay. I'll I'll have to get used to it, because obviously each time with Google changing and updating things, yes, I'm going to try and keep up with it all. Let's get the town of Terrell. There. To there. Get off, you bastard. So there, we could run about 2 miles from Party House to Terrell. 2 miles by vehicle. Wouldn't take long at all. Walking, out of the question, very unlikely to happen. So there's a bit of a supposed movement. But, Caden Pressey did mention at one point, and I do think it was on a Facebook post, whether it be in just one post or a second or a first one, depending on the order of it. I don't know if Tim Daniel remembers. Caden Pressey had said at some point that Terrell, the mini mart, boom, right on point. This mini mart here going down to get alcohol. Caden Pressey did not buy it, but he was there to witness, I think Avery was Carter there or Jasmine. But what day did that fall on? Likely what day would that be on then? Saturday or Sunday? Depends with the police interview. Interesting. But, the alcohol situation, how does that link to Noah's death? Well, long term, people push the social hosting laws. But Caden Pressey tagging along, Caden being underage, but Caden still being present to witness the alcohol and just going on down to hang out with people, going from place to place, I guess. No big deal. See, there will be movement of people at the party coming and going from different places, right? The whole reference of 40 party goers, but we never saw 40 there all at once, just in total over the course of days. So my question, because I don't think I've asked it before, besides the Texas boys, besides people that come from Duncan, Comanche, out of the total people that were at the party house from Friday to Monday, how many people were from the town of Terrell, what we see here? How many people from this town went to the party house? I'd be interested to know in terms of proximity and location. Ooh, spinning around. In regard to my knowledge or what I was aware of in the past, specifically Mikey getting down to the party house in the first place, regardless of what happened after that, Mikey was wherever he was living at the time, I guess, and it ties him with Noah Presgrove, supposedly, because not that I'm focusing in a direct particular area, but let's just say roughly in this area. But when Noah Presgrove made it back to his place of living, which was on Sunday just after breakfast, at some point in the day, which Dusty Butler said in the afternoon, was it 5 p.m? I don't know, it was never really clarified, never brought up ever again the time, which is very interesting, and it's not been brought up since. But in the afternoon, Jack Newton called Noah to come on back to the party. Noah, I guess, persuaded. But Noah did not drive down this time because his vehicle had issues with it, I guess the oil or leakage. So instead got a lift down to the party house. Hence why when it came to Monday, when he wanted to leave supposedly, he had to ask people, or at least Caden, for a lift back home. That makes sense. But who gave Noah a lift? Well, Justin Roy says it was Gage Jessen, some male, who did not attend the party but was passing by, and when getting on down there dropped Noah Presgrove off. But along the way, going down to the place, Gage Jessen also picked up Mikey Lair. And if that's true, how did Mikey Lair get in contact with Gage Jessen? Did they know each other? Or was Mikey in contact with Jack Newton, and then Jack contacted Gage and said, oh, whilst you're on the way down with Noah, can you pick up Mikey Lair too? It does make you think. It is interesting, like someone like Mikey Lair who's got PTSD, whatever caused that, and the side effects and what can trigger things, to be possibly at a party where there's loud noise and firearms. It could seem like a recipe for disaster. But at the end of the day, from the looks of it, there wasn't that much trouble, unless there was a bit of play fighting, as what we've heard. And, if we go back to that situation, Let's go down here. Drifting along. Rotate around. Caden Pressey said in his own words on the police interview that Noah Presgrove wrestled Mikey and kind of like dominated Mikey. And that all occurred Saturday night. But obviously a lot of people were saying, ref, you got that wrong. Mikey wasn't there Saturday. Well, yeah, that supposedly is the case, but I'm just relaying what Caden said in the police interview. So that's what I find quite interesting, correct? So if it's not Saturday, Sunday then, a form of wrestling. If Noah embarrassed Mikey, was Mikey a bit annoyed? Was there any little grudge building? Who knows? It depends how you interpret it, of course. But the fishhook situation, in which how it's been worded in the past, and maybe on some articles as well, Caden covering Mikey's phone, Noah getting caught up in it, and Mikey taking it out on Noah, fishhooking him, and then Noah biting on Mikey's finger. Okay, it was a bit random. Did it link to anything before? Anything after? Any other issues? We've not heard really any other issues or run-ins. See, what I always like to refer back to is the second argument with Noah and Jack, how that was brought up several times in the early days within the community of the case. And ever since, it's just faded away. Yeah, you can talk about Saturday past midnight going into early Sunday morning, where Noah is yelling at Jack, supposedly, because Jack's gone behind Noah's back and flirted with Noah's girlfriend at the time. But what about the argument on Monday? And I believe it was Justin Roy that brought it up in the first place when he did his Partners in True Crime interview. I would say the second supposed argument is more significant because it's closer and it's on the day of Noah's death. But what was the time of the argument? Was it at 3:30, after, or before? Was it before or after the side-by-side rollover? Who knows? I just don't really hear it mentioned much anymore. So I thought I'd just bring that up and put it into perspective. Of course, once again, nearby, there's not really any houses or witnesses. In regard to the party that occurred a weekend beforehand, and it was reported in, who by? I can't remember the person's name, but why would they report it in, and how did they come across it? Because no one's living nearby, so it wouldn't be down to noise pollution, unless you were passing by and you saw something illegal, but no action followed up. These are just like little rough patches of grey areas which probably aren't going to completely solve the case, but, well, maybe if there was any motives, the final argument between Jack and Noah could give a bit of clarity if it really happened and the timing of it. You know, the last person to see Noah, did it end on a positive note, a high, or a negative, a low? But in regard to Mikey heading down to the town of Terrell, if that's truly the case, and if Carter had given Mikey a ride back and forth, Carter being designated driver, you would think, in regards to Noah Presgrove, that would be the golden ticket out of there and back to the place of living. But honestly, did Noah Presgrove ever reach out to Carter for a ride back home? Yes or no? Caden Pressey says, well, I didn't see who Noah reached out to for a ride home. I just overheard Noah inquiring to other people. Says a lot, doesn't it? If you got a free ride, a golden ticket out of the place, but Noah doesn't reach out to Carter, then it could imply that maybe Noah didn't really want to leave or wasn't as desperate to leave as people made it out to be. Maybe. I'll just chuck that out there. So does anything else, any other questions in terms of geography of the area, the location, any points of interest, spots you want to look at next? Feel free to leave a comment down below. With that being said, the only other thing I just wanted to highlight upon is the current state of things here and in the case in general. That I'd say it's at a positive right now because we've unearthed the problematic people in recent time and a bit in the past too. Granted, those from the dark side would have seen it much earlier or maybe even from day one. But for me, there was a process that I've got to go through over time to see it both ways. And, you know, it just takes some time. See how people react and act and see the double standards along the way and much more. But whilst unearthing it and whilst others may move along and others cleansed, It just makes it a bit lighter, makes it a bit quieter. See, this is what the important thing is. And there's been a couple of people that have made the little big announcements because they want the 15 minutes of fame and they want to sound super important, where they say, I've had enough, I'm going to walk away. I'm cancelling this, I'm walking now, I'm going, goodbye. And I'm like, okay, it's probably the best decision you can make doing what you do that and follow through with it. It's not a matter of walking away from the case, it's just a matter of walking away from a channel while still continuing to look into the case elsewhere. But obviously, as what we've seen in recent time, by the light side and in between, in the middle and the third group, there's been attempts made to push me away from the case completely. And on my own channel, on a different platform, people elsewhere making attempts to try and push me off that as well. Really embarrassing. And most of these people are not in a position to be talking or acting in the first place. So with that being said, it's a bit brighter, it's a little bit quieter, a bit more time to breathe and look at some different themes and topics along the way and see where that goes. And then of course, if there's other cases, things that I need to refer back to elsewhere with what I've done in the past, that's what I will do, because I can't neglect that. So all in all, hopefully you found this video somewhat interesting. If you do want to hit the like button and share it, that would be much appreciated. And as I said, playlist is up there. My name is Ref. I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Good night.